Welcome. In front of me is a ZTE NUBIA Neo 2, and today I will show you an unboxing along with a quick look at the device and its spec. So jumping straight into it, let's just pop the two seals holding it together. There we go. Now I like my phones to not come with trash in the box. Ish. Don't want to even know what that is. Anyway, so in here we have a screen protector, and below that we have a plastic case and just paperwork along with the SIM eject tool, which I'm just gonna drop back in here and then move over to the phone. Octa-core processor. Now, it's usually better to just tell us the processor that you put in here, because otherwise I'm just gonna think that it's absolute dog shit. Anyway, let's boot it up. And while it's going to be booting up, I'm also gonna quickly look at the rest of the specs. We have a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus display, 120 Hz refresh rate, 8 plus 12 gigs of RAM. No, that's bullshit. We have 8 gigs of RAM. F off. Excuse me, what was that noise? Come on. That was the worst boot up sound I have ever heard. Gaming shoulder triggers. Oh, interesting. So we have some shoulder triggers. Built for gaming, GameSpace 2.0. I mean, GameSpace sounds like a software, so it's not built for gaming then. I mean, to be honest, it does have the trigger button, so that is pretty gamery thing to have on your phone, but anyway. Okay, so let's look at the device and start off with the display right here, which luckily, actually, it starts off at 120 Hz refresh rate, thanks. Most phones, or some phones, tend to turn the 120 Hz refresh rate off just to preserve battery life. Even though they come with it, it's off. Similar to brightness, but here it's on, so that's a plus. Now that's a 6.7-inch display running a resolution of 1080 by 2400, LCD IPS, 120 Hz refresh rate, 86% screen to body ratio with a roughly 400 pixels per inch. And that's basically all there is to the display. Nothing really great, to be honest, outside of just the refresh rate being 120 Hz refresh rate. Now, if we flip it over to the back, we have what looks to be a dual camera setup, but this is ZTE, so I can already tell you it's probably not. It's most likely going to be a single camera setup. And it is. Well, not really, but for intensive purposes, it is. So the main sensor is the 50 megapixel f1.8 aperture widest sensor with PDAF, and then we have the sticker camera called 2 megapixel f, doesn't matter, depth sensor. So let's be honest, depth sensors are used for FL and they serve no purpose. So yeah, it's a basically sticker camera and it's absolutely freaking useless. And also the device supports a video recording at 1080p at 30 frames. Now at the front we have a selfie camera, and that houses a 16 megapixel selfie that can shoot videos at 1080p at 30 frames. Okay. Now let's move over to the internals. So the device actually comes with a surprisingly big battery at 6000 milliwatts. So that's actually, or not milliwatts, milliamps, meant to say, 6000. So that's actually pretty decent. And we didn't really look at the rest of the packaging in a box, but we do have our Type-C, two Type-C charging cable, and for that 6000 watts of charging, can pop this open, come on, there we go, we have a 33 watts charger, which you can see hopefully once the camera focuses, there we go, you can see it right here. So we get a pretty decent charger in the box for a pretty decent battery size. There we go. Now that's what I would say as far as this device goes into the positives. And now it's just kind of gonna start falling apart. Now before I go any further, I do want to check out something, which is the price of this device. And it's unfortunately roughly $240. So yeah, $240 for a device like that, that's a big yikes, I would say. Okay, so let's go into it. We have a 8 gigabytes of RAM here. Don't get fooled by the bullshit that they put on the box right here somewhere, right? I'm pretty sure I've seen it somewhere. Or was it on this crap right here? Yeah, oh, there it was. So 8 plus 12, no, bullshit. So for people that actually don't know and are interested in, the 8 gigabyte is the actual RAM that the device has. The plus 12 is just basically storage, which we have right here, 256 gigabytes of it, converted to RAM. Now, converted to RAM is a very generous way of describing it, as RAM is its own kind of storage type. Like the SSD and HDD are two different things, right? They both store data, but in different ways. This is like saying that you convert HDD to SSD. You can already kind of fathom how absolutely effing stupid that sounds. It's not how it works. And basically implications here are exactly the same. If you convert HDD to SSD and you try to use it for that, it's going to be stupidly slow comparatively to what SSD actually does. And same thing goes for RAM. So yeah, don't get fooled by this bullshit. It's just a marketing gimmick. It's honestly just a lie and misadvertisement, I would say, because I can't fathom how this is even legal. SSD or whatever NVMe or whatever we have right here is not a RAM storage. Therefore, it's misrepresenting what you're actually purchasing. But anyway, obviously this is a Chinese company, so lawsuits from US or Europe don't really apply to them, so therefore we get bullshit like this. But because I don't care, I am going to trash all over this every time I get a chance. So, continuing on with the storage, like I said, we have 256 gigs of it, and this is using a UFS 3.1 storage type, so a pretty decent actually storage here. Now, if we pop out the tray, this looks like just a SIM card tray. So we have dual SIM support from each from either side, and that's about it. No expendable storage past the 256. Now, taking a look at the build quality, we have plastic back, at least I presume this is plastic. It doesn't really mention it. We have definitely plastic frame, and at the bottom we have our charging port, speaker, microphone, our volume rockers along with the dual SIM tray. Top we have just another microphone, and on our side we have a power button along with the touch sensitive triggers. They do have a little bit of like a feel to it. You can feel where it is. I don't know if this is just kind of like painted on and you can feel the paint, or if it's engraved or whatever, or maybe it's lighting up, but you can feel that under your finger, the area specifically right here. So yeah. Now, with that being said, last thing, the device is being powered by a Unisec T820 processor. Now, I do want to quickly actually check how, let's just say, amazing it is. Okay, so I'm going to be comparing it to the Dimensity, not 700, come on, 7000. Why is it struggling with finding this specific one? Okay, let's compare it to, I guess, 7020. Looking right now at the benchmarks of it, and honestly, it's actually not that bad from what I can see, though graphics wise it seems to be falling apart. So what I'm seeing right here is that in terms of performance on Antutu benchmarks, it is only apparently 4% faster than the Dimensity 7020 processor, and that is, as far as I'm aware, equivalent to a Snapdragon 7 like Gen 2, I think, which is a fantastic processor. It's going to get you through basically everything along with gaming. So in this case, this seems to be a pretty good processor, but Antutu doesn't necessarily do too much, I think, in terms of benchmarking the GPU in here, and that's kind of where it spec-wise seemed to be falling apart. As graphics-wise, we are looking at a Mali G57, and that is running at 780 megahertz compared to the Dimensity 900 megahertz GPU. Also has execution units 4 compared to 8, literally half of it. But then looking at it, actually shading units, it has what is like quadruple more, 64 to 18. So that is massive improvement. And max size, though I don't know max size of what, looking at 32 compared to 16. So again, double that. So honestly, I never really tested this processor, so I have no idea how it actually runs in terms of gaming. But if this is correct, it actually might be doing pretty well. Like I said, take that with a grain of salt. I have never tested this out, so I could be misinterpreting this, to be honest. And yeah, so check it out yourself. It looks like it's a decent processor, nonetheless. So yeah, I can't really complain. For gaming, obviously that's what you'll want to prioritize, the GPU. And you can obviously check out some benchmarks for games specifically. As this is designed for gaming, you probably wanted to do that pretty well. And if I'm correct, based on what I'm seeing, it should be doing that pretty well. But anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna give you one last kind of alternative as an example, and maybe just something that you might want to check out, which would be not a gaming phone, so it's not going to have the trigger buttons and will have smaller battery, but what will have better is a display, because right here we have an IPS display. It is running at 120 Hz refresh rate, so that's pretty good, but the quality of the display won't be necessarily that great, as the contrast ratios, the darks, and all that stuff won't be too great. It's a typical LCD IPS. But if you're interested, I highly recommend checking out the CMF Phone 1, which comes with an AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, same basically price, and possibly just a tad faster processor, being the Dimensity 70 or 7000 something plus. So it might be actually faster than this in gaming for the same price. And like I said, the only thing that you'll sacrifice is just the triggers and just slightly smaller battery at 5000 instead of the whopping 6000 that I have right here. But still a fantastic device nonetheless. And this one seems to be actually pretty decent as well. So anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.